Assalamu alaikum, this is Rehma and we are here on channel AHI. You just saw Harkalay, now let's get into it.
Hi guys, welcome to Coke Studio City. अभी आप लोगों ने गाना सुना होगा Harkalay and beautiful song. मैंने जब पहली दफा सुना, I just loved it, and I'm really happy to introduce to you Rehma, who's an LA-based artist. She's here. This is her Coke Studio debut, and what a debut! Rehma, that was just fantastic. I was here the other day and it was playing in the background, and it's got such an intense vibe, the song. So of course I'm going to start with the usual question.
Yeah.
You live in LA.
Yes.
And you've been a music artist, a singer for the last, you've been singing since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Dropped your first EP when you were
20 years old.
20 years old.
Yeah.
And your songs are accessible, and I love them, by the way. But this was Coke Studio. And how did the call come to you? How did you feel?
Oh, well, I actually got a DM from Zulfi. And he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, I'm working on Coke Studios' new season, and I have a project that I really think you would fit well on. Let me know if you want to talk about it on the phone." That message really changed the course for me. I got it about a year and a half ago, and I screenshotted it, sent it to my mom, my family, everybody, my friends, even my white friends, and of course they don't know the gravity of Coke Studio in Pakistan. Of course, you understand the gravity of the brand and, the sponsors and all of that. But I think when I mentioned to them, the weight of this, moment that has made, Coke Studio has made culturally, they really understood. And it was a really exciting moment. So after that, I called him. I was really nervous on the phone. And he was like, "Urdu samajhti ho?" And I was like, "Ji, main samajhti hu. Thodi si tutti booty bolti hu, magar samajhti hu kuch." So I was just responding to him in English, and he was asking me questions. He's like, "Yeah, I'm working with this artist named Zohur. It's actually a Pashto song."
Yeah.
And I was like, "A Pashto song? You want me to sing in Pashto before I sing in Urdu?" Okay, let's go. I was like, he's like, "No, actually, I want you to sing in English."
Yeah.
And I was really relieved actually, because for years, I've sat and watched Coke Studio with my mom. I watched Abdul Parveen, Misha Shafi, Atif Aslam, all these wonderful artists. And I've always wanted to be a part of Coke Studio, but I was nervous and a little bit shy because I am an English speaker,
Absolutely.
and I grew up in America.
Yeah.
But I was actually so honored that, there was space for me in Pakistan, even if I am an English speaker.
Yeah.
I feel like Zulfi, by doing that, is a very, first, a very generous thing, but also an important part of the culture, and making sure that we don't create any limitations to what the music can be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And how much Pakistan is actually supposed to be on a global scale rather than just our country.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah. So Rehma, living in LA and you're part of the music scene there.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to sell music as part of Pakistan's culture?
Oh, it's I think a big part of it is that a lot of the families who leave these countries in South Asia, they are leaving because of survival. And that mindset is very prevalent in those areas. And, there's a bit of this competitive nature. And it's kind of hard to create a career on music or fashion or acting. And I think those who have to do it have to put their whole life into it. They have to devote everything. And it's important to just represent your community, but in the way how. Not trying to be anything else.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to be somebody who grew up in Pakistan. But I am somebody who's Pakistan who grew up in America. And I think that's the most important lens I can have.
Absolutely.
It's a unique perspective.
And it's a perspective that reflects in your songs and your music as well.
Thank you.
But going back a bit, your grandmother used to work at Radio Pakistan.
Yes.
And she was a
and I didn't even know that until later when I started making music. My mom was like, "Yeah, no one makes music in the family, but your grandma did." And I was like, "Wow."
So you didn't even know that your grandmother used to sing, and yet you were in the profession, and that's so cool.
No, exactly. And actually, I've never had anyone ask me about my grandmother before. So this is really impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
Must be that conversation, and I didn't know, and I think obviously that influence is probably genetically in there, and I think it's important, and I think it matters because she was part of something big, to be part of a radio station as a woman.
Absolutely.
In Pakistan,
Absolutely.
especially in that time, she was probably making a revolution without even realizing.
Remember those times were better. Those were better times for Pakistan.
Really?
For women in Pakistan, I feel.
Really?
There was a lot more freedom a lot more independence. They had a voice that they've kind of lost today. Yeah, so when you started singing, I feel that you wanted that voice to be heard, as a woman, as a South Asian woman. And one of your songs, Ladke, one of the first songs I heard, is with your friend Shia,
Yeah.
who's from India.
Yes, she
Yeah.
is. She's a Indian American artist, and I'm a Pakistani American artist.
Yeah.
So us collaborating was actually an opportunity to, erase that invisible feud that people think that these women have.
Yeah.
First of all, it being two South Asian women in America, I don't think I've ever seen a collaboration like that before.
Yeah.
And second, the unfair double standards that are placed on women in relationships, in life, in accomplishments. Like, women are out here getting degrees, working jobs, being creative, doing their laundry, cooking, cleaning, doing everything. Well, men only have to carry like a slight bit of that battle, and
and yet they're kind of behave like they're doing it all.
Like, exactly.
Yeah,
and there are people who are doing great things, and there are men who are putting in effort and putting in work. But I think sometimes it's important to talk about the things that people are not doing, because that's holding more gravity.
Yeah. It's also important what you're choosing and what you're picking to sing about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this song comes in, because it's also throwing light on the Pakhtun culture.
Yeah.
And the fact that, the song is welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows this person who's coming from outside Pakistan and being welcomed into their community.
Yeah.
And I saw a bit of the video, and you in that beautiful little perfumery, and I tried to steal one of those bottles, actually.
Why did he?
But I was told don't do it. I was like,
I stole
they're
a
not
radio,
even.
So.
Yeah, I should have done it. I was
Sumaya was like, "Don't show me, don't show me."
Yeah,
and
I was like, they're not going to know, and I can just get away with one little bottle. But it's like, nah. But that beautiful set, and the entire culture kind of unfolds in front of you.
Yeah.
And it takes you through, and then the dancers, and then the rain.
Right.
Now, how difficult was that video to shoot?
I think it's difficult for everybody, because it's like a long process to be able to stand on set for this many hours and do everything. But I think the beauty of everything was that even though it was difficult, somehow the energy was alive through the whole thing. There were so many special moments where, like, for example, in the perfume shop, I was talking to Zulfi Bhai about it, and I was like, this literally feels like my room at home. When you're in America, you're not in Pakistan, so you have to hold on to your little traditions that you have, like the rosemary and the crystals and everything. So actually, when I mentioned that it looks like my room and I actually have a bunch of these crystals in there, I showed him in my bag. Like, I ran to my bag across the set, and I was like, look, these are crystals that I have, like, in my bag. I charged them at night, and it looks like that room in there, like I promised. So actually, Hashim, the production designer, the next day, like, brought a bunch of crystals and, like, put them in my room for the perfume shop. Little things like that are what make artists feel comfortable and safe on set.
Yeah.
And even just the idea of me being welcomed into the Pashtun culture, that's a big part of this song, is like, I didn't want to occupy too much space. I just wanted to add to it. I just wanted to celebrate something that was already happening, and that is the Pashtun culture.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful that Zohur is so talented and fleshed it out and was able to, like, educate everybody on what the Pashtun culture is about. So
I mean, you guys sounded amazing. What was the brief that was given to you?
It was very simple yet stunning. I'll say it like that. Really just explaining, this is what Pashtun culture is about. It's about welcoming people, open arms, and I think there's this stereotype and these weird pressures that Pashtun people act like this or supposed to become this. So it's almost like, hey, no matter what language you speak, no matter how much time goes by or what kind of space we have between us, you can't stop the force of love.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's specific to Pashtun culture, but a universal message. So the fact that I get to see Pashtun people representing that is a very important moment in time, I feel like.
Absolutely.
I'm really grateful to be a part of that, even just a glimpse of it,
Yeah. I can see you're really well connected to your roots. And, I've met your mother, and I can see that bond with Pakistan, although you've come for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you feel any of that connection now that you're here?
Yes, actually.
Or do you feel like an alien in an unknown sort of land?
I don't feel like an alien, but you would assume that somebody who's coming from so far away would feel like an alien. But I was explaining this to my sister and my mom. When I landed, I actually felt very emotional because it feels like oddly familiar.
Yeah.
But new at once. So it's crazy. Why is everyone so welcoming here? I don't know. It's like, no matter all the hurt, all the pressure people have gone through, they still made diamonds and they still move with love and welcome you. This is not something that happens in America. You know, our communities aren't welcomed everywhere. So this is emotional for me because I feel safe here. Really safe, actually.
That's really ironic. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because most people would assume, oh, she's an American girl. She's not going to get it. But actually, it made me feel validated in everything that I fight for in America, and all the voices that I'm trying to uplift over there makes sense now. It's like, of course, my mother grew up in this town. Like, this is the kind of world she grew up in. This is why I'm the way I am. And this is why my sisters are the way they are. My brother, like, makes sense, you know? Yeah.
You know, Rama, bilkul milke nahi lagta that you've not been to Karachi before.
Really?
Yeah. And I deliberately spoke to you in a bit of English and Urdu. So you could respond in Urdu with your... बोल सकती हो ना उर्दू?
जी बोल दे, मगर इतनी अच्छी नहीं बोलूंगी back, but मैं सब कुछ समझती हूँ.
समझती, good.
बोल दे.
No, I'm really like happy that you know the language. That's delightful. Usually children who grow up in America don't know the language.
Yeah, that is common.
So that is, I mean, that's what we think.
It's probably an outcome of the fact that everyone before me was born in Karachi, you know? So
right.
Besides me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who was. Yeah.
So Coke Studio this year is about Shanacht, which is identity. Yeah. And we're talking about different identities throughout Pakistan, you know, and this one, your song is about the Pakhtun culture. Being an LA-based artist with Pakistani origins, and you just talked about the voices that you want to talk about, the things that you want to talk about and the voice that you need to raise. What are the issues that you feel that you want to talk about or sing about?
I think the most important thing I'm trying to emphasize is the concept of love, but not just in, you know, the traditional aspects, but trying to recognize that there are people out there who still have hope, you know, and, you know, people who are hopeless are just giving into the problem. So if you are basing your love on people based on their identity, culture, language, or something, you're limiting yourself from the ability to expand and become something bigger. Like Pakistan bringing all these cultures and languages together is only beneficial because you're gaining perspective and you're learning something new. I've never seen anyone hurt themselves on, like, you know, remaining open-minded and trying to garner more rather than just limit yourself to what you know or what's tradition, you know? And I think there's something beautiful about tradition, but being able to reinvent tradition is even more powerful, you know? So I hope that answers your question.
It does, more or less, but also I feel that there are different directions you take in your songs.
Yeah.
And like your EP was Mercy.
Yeah.
So it is about love. It is about tolerance. It is about being kind.
It's about being forgiving.
It's about being forgiving. Yeah, absolutely.
Mercy is actually a reflection of my name, Rehma.
I was going to say that. Your name is like... Is
Mercy,
It's
right.
Mercy, yeah.
So yeah, it's actually called Mercy because of Rehma. And I was telling Zulfi by this as well, but Rahmat also means rain.
Yeah.
So the rain scene in Harkalay is very like metaphorical and like it really aligns with the world that I grew up in.
Okay, let's go there. What happened now? Yeah, I missed the
You
shoot.
missed that.
I missed it, yeah, because it was really happening late at night.
Yeah.
I was like, I really want to see this.
It was like 4 a.m. and everyone was like...
I know, but I saw the warning that came out. Okay, guys, it's about to rain. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
You know? How did that happen?
Oh, it was so powerful, honestly. Obviously, all of the scenes were incredible, but that was the moment where everybody was like, okay, it's game time. Yeah. Are the mics going to work? Are the dancers going to dance? Are the singers going to be able to keep their eyes open? I don't know what happened, but as soon as the rain fell down and the song started, and that hook is so powerful because that's like the ultimate welcoming. You know, it's like, oh, it's the celebration. Like, doesn't matter where you're from, we can dance, we can love, we can sing. So as soon as...
Do you know the hook?
Yeah. सोच में जी प्यार से कुल्ले तमियों मकाम ते सुल्ले लशमा दे सा पुल्ले कुल्ले दी दे कुल्ले. And actually my English hook is matching the exact syllables and the meaning of the song, but I'm just singing it in English. So I go, said I wouldn't fall, but it's too late, taking up my time every your way. So it's the same thing, but it's just me saying it in a different language, but the feeling is eminent. Like it's the same thing, you know? So when the rain fell, everybody like felt like it was almost like a power strike. Like, oh, we gotta go harder now. Like, the rain is falling. I'm gonna sing harder. All the Pashtun dancers are like flipping their hair and looking so majestic.
Yeah.
So, very exciting time. Very exhilarating, if anything. Gave me a lot of adrenaline. I was singing louder when that happened. So, somehow the mics worked too. So, we were good.
Waterproof mics.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It looked amazing. It absolutely looked amazing. I'm sure the video's out by now and everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to really comprehend what went on behind the scenes. And,
Yeah.
how to put that entire thing together, how to put that set together, and the attention to detail, the filigree on the woodwork. And so many people were part of that set. And I love the fact that they had a cultural consultant as well.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the best thing you could do. Have somebody who's in the front lines
Absolutely.
there and telling you exactly how
Absolutely.
it goes. I think it's very authentic, very real. Even my part was as authentic as it could be. I'm coming from America,
Yeah.
like what perspective is she adding? And I think it's the idea that, people like to rep identity so much in America, but really when it comes down to it, if you're going to talk, like, are you going to walk the walk? So me coming back to Pakistan, me shooting this video for 20 hours straight, I'm hoping that it's a chance for people to see that I'm not just trying to represent my community for talk. I want to be here. I want to be on the ground. I want to be part of my community here as well, and keep coming back and doing my best, not occupying space, but just learning and trying to give as much as I can as well, not just take.
Tell me a bit about the styling. I saw you were wearing a really interesting green dress, and it had a bit of cultural elements as well.
Dude, Fatima. Woo!
Fatima's really good.
Fatima killed the outfit. I think she was really emphasizing that she just wanted me to feel comfortable, as well as the makeup artist, Saima. They were just like, we just want you to feel comfortable. So you tell us what you want, and we're going to do our best to implement. And she, she kept emphasizing, she's like, these are not things that were part of the West that you like. These are part of the things that were Pashtun culture from back then, There's really, so much intention and so much attention to detail. So she did her best to, blend this Western, Pashtun, Pakistani style, and she brought her own style into it, too. So, the big puff sleeves, the collar, that's very me. So, I love powerful shapes and structures because that's really, I think, represents femininity and divinity to me. So I thought she did an incredible job with the styling, even for Zahur's outfit, the pants being the shapes just being a little bit different, just adding that unique flair. I think that's very important. So.
It looked really good.
It was incredible.
It was incredible.
The green was so pretty too.
It was beautiful.
And then when it got wet, this is the Zabardast part as well. The green gets wet and it becomes this rich green, and it's just the change of the tone was even incredible. I just had a great time with everything on the set.
Yeah, I think it's that passion is so important, and it also, you can see that people are really sincere to what they're doing.
Exactly.
This is not just happening because it's a commercial project.
Exactly.
But everybody's so invested, and their souls are invested in it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a difference.
It's depth. It really is. It's profound. It's every piece of it is someone's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is this going to change your life now?
I think it's already changed my life.
Yeah.
I think being on set changed my life. I think meeting Zulfi Bai changed my life. I think being Pakistani has changed the course of my life, of course, I think after this, I just hope that I keep continuing to have this sort of intention with my music, using music as a tool to empower people rather than make people feel small, and not exclude people, but keep making people feel included. Taking up space to make more space for girls who look like me, for girls who feel like me, for the girls in Pakistan. Just keep doing more like this, I'm only here as a blip in time, so hopefully more people come after me like this.
Yeah. So you've been here for a couple of days.
Right.
And other than the 20-hour shoot, have you been around town? Have you been around the city? Have you been meeting people? Have you met other musicians?
I haven't really had time to meet friends or other musicians around Karachi, but after... This is actually a really important part. I'm so glad we're getting to talk about this. But the first song I ever dropped was 9 years ago with my friend Dalal Qureshi.
Yeah.
And he actually came on set for the Harkalay shoot, and it was like a homecoming, and it was really emotional.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. It was really emotional, honestly. We were so proud of each other and where we've come. So having Dalal there was very important to me, and he's been a really big part of my journey. Honestly, he was the first producer I worked with, and he's probably going to be someone I work with for a very long time.
Yeah, amazing.
So meeting him was incredible. I ate at Karachi.
You did?
Yeah.
Of course. No trip to Karachi is complete without a trip to Kolache?
I went to the malls. My mom took me everywhere that
Yeah.
she likes to go, you know. So we frolicked. We got some food. The food here is so good. So I had a great time. Everything was really fun, and everyone's so honest here.
Yeah.
I love how real everyone is here as well. That's a really
I
important
love your perception of Pakistan. I mean, it's giving me new perspective. Yeah.
I mean, it's complex, of course.
We're a bit jaded living here, but yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that fresh angle perspective. It's good.
I'm glad it's fresh.
Yeah.
Hey, it's complex for sure. I know there's good and bad about everywhere.
Yeah.
I tend to focus on the good always.
Absolutely. No, you have to. You should never give up hope, you know. There's
Yeah.
always room for improvement, sure, everywhere.
Yeah.
Things are really bad right now, but there's always hope that they will get better. They will improve.
Yeah.
That's it. And I feel that music just makes things better.
Music
It
is a
just-
tool.
Absolutely.
It's just, you know, art is an ability for people to mobilize, and
Absolutely.
Coke Studio is creating something a lot stronger than I don't even think they realize right now, you know?
Yeah.
This is a force. And I think
It is, I
people are
agree.
feeling that force
I
very
agree.
very soon, you know?
I
Yeah.
agree. You're very mature for your age, and I hope that, you know,
Thank
there are
you.
more 23-year-olds like you, because we don't see that depth a lot, you know. But
Thank
it's good whenever it does come along. But
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, I'm looking forward to your music. You're working on
Thank
your
you.
next album, EP?
Yes, it's called Anomaly.
Oh,
I like to have them as like girl names, like
Yeah.
Mercy and Anomaly.
Yeah.
So the next girl is called Anomaly.
Anomaly.
She's 1 in a million.
And when do you drop?
No release date yet.
No, okay. We'll
It'll
keep our
come
fingers
from-
crossed. It'll come.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you around.
Yeah, of
And
course.
as and when Coke Studio unfolds, you know, this year, it's the 15th season, and it sounds great from what I've heard. I'm sure it's going to be super.
It's gonna be super.
Yeah, superb. And it's been a pleasure talking to you, Rehma.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you
so
much.
much.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.